positive open and speak about actions and how there are people that will say all kinds of things and pretend to be very spiritual, and they could have taken any class, course, workshop, read every spiritual book, but if they still carry a lot of negative emotions and attachments, eventually it will show. And recently I had the experience with three people when all of a sudden their true colors came out, just because I've been shining my light brighter, and that did not go well by them. And it's been so interesting because they all claim to be very spiritual, but the kind of spirituality they practice is more what I would say dogmatic, of trying really hard to be a good person because deep down inside they feel that they're not. And they're still filled with a lot of fear, shame, and guilt, which I've been trying to help them with. Uh, but all of a sudden, each one of them flipped on me uh, because my light really irritated their darkness, and because they have not been willing to really do the shadow work, which is very important to integrate those feelings, to go deep into them and not bypass them, and to really face our fears, face our guilt, face our shame. And the interesting thing with people like that, and the way you can always know, is when you confront them, and when they say something and you say that is not true, like if they're saying something that's not true and you actually confront them on that, and then the way they don't respond or pretend like nothing ever happened, instead of apologizing and saying, oh wow, you're right, I didn't know that, which to me a normal person would do that. But people like that still live out of ego, they can't admit ever being wrong, because that will threaten their whole identity that they have built on being spiritual or knowledgeable. And that's how you know, because if you truly are spiritual and you are listening to your spirit, if you ever do something to hurt another person, or you don't know something and somebody else points to you the truth of the matter or their feelings, you will be very accepting and really like you take in that information and be able to self correct. And when a person is unwilling to self correct, when they're unwilling to admit being wrong, when you share your feelings with them and they go into mind games and defending themselves and blaming you for you hurting their feelings, it's something is terribly wrong. So again, we can't go deeper into spirituality if we don't address emotional intelligence. And a lot of times it's difficult to deal with those emotions: shame, guilt, grief, fear. But it's important because when we start to deconstruct them, we can see that a lot of it is projected. And then, for example, if you do something wrong, it's normal to feel guilty and ashamed. But if you address it and apologize and take responsibility, then this is how you correct it, and you don't have to stay in that emotion for long, which is that's what those emotions are for, right? Let's say you go to a friend's house and accidentally you break their favorite mug, and you're going to feel guilty and ashamed for being clumsy. But even trying to cover it up, blame it on the cat, pretend like you didn't do it, or blame them and say, well, you shouldn't have put it there. What kind of behavior is that of a 2-year-old? Whereas if you're a grown, mature person, you can take responsibility and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, what can I do? Can I replace it for you?" And just express the shame and the guilt that you feel and try to make amends. And then you don't have to sit in that shame and guilt anymore, right? And your friend can say, "Don't worry about it, it happens." And then you're good. Or they can say, "Oh, wow, that was really my favorite mug. And it came from so and so store. And can you buy me another one?" Whatever it is that they want, right? Just kind of like follow up with that. So every time we're informed by these emotions and we take the corrective action, we have expressed them, we have made amends to elevate them. But when we don't express them, when we don't want to take responsibility, then they turn toxic, right? And then every time we're in a situation like that where we're being exposed, we have this massive amount of shame and guilt that we never dealt with, that we don't even want to open that lid, right? So we keep blowing it off. And to be honest, that's what blocking a lot of people from progressing spiritually. And then the fear of punishment. And it's like, no, it's okay. It doesn't have to be that serious. And we can admit being wrong. We can admit making mistake. It's human as long as we follow up and make amends. And the people that don't want to are the people that stay stuck in those cycles and have passive aggressive manipulative behavior to get what they want, avoid these emotions like the devil, and turn into the devil themselves. Yeah. So it's not our job to fight with their darkness. Our presence eliminates it, and when they start to project it onto us, what we can do is remove ourselves and really pay close attention to people's actions. Do their actions align with their words? Are they kind and do good deeds just for show? Or are they really like that? And they're kind every time, even when nobody's watching. And they pick up trash even when nobody's watching. What kind of spirituality they have? Is it the spirituality that divides, only this truth is true? Or is the spirituality that unites? Everyone is spirit, we're all one, we're love. Differences are appreciated and respected and honored. When you have good news and when you're joyful, are these people able to join you in your joy? Or do they say, "I'm so happy for you"? And you can feel it in the tone of their voice and their face, um, how they really are not, because they live in comparison and competition. So that's one thing I've been paying attention to more lately, of who is truly sincere and who still harbors a lot of shame, guilt, fear, resentment, um, and not coming from a place of judgment, but coming from a place of discernment and recognizing not everybody is willing to do the work. But since I am, I want to be surrounded with people that are also doing the work and that are not avoiding what seems unpleasant. And it's okay that we're all going at different paces. And it's also okay, like in my case, to um, have some really firm boundaries and disconnect from some of these people and focus my attention on the people who can truly meet my energy and reciprocate it, and who deal with their emotions as they come, who express their emotions in healthy ways, and who share and are not afraid to be vulnerable. And instead of projecting their difficult feelings on me, they actually work with them so they can gain more light. And who follows through, who says things and then does them. It's that simple, really. And who says what they are and then they actually are that thing. Because that was the one big case of a person who has all the certifications and things and titles. And I realized it's all coming from a deep sense of insecurity and ego, and adding on and adding on and adding on to feel secure, to feel like somebody, to cover it up, which again is driven by fear, shame, and guilt. Whereas when we're secure, when we have our connection with spirit, when we know who we are, when we embrace our darkness and our light, there's nothing to hide, nothing to defend, and no reason to pretend. And I can still love the people that hurt me and feel sad for them that they've had this opportunity to self correct and they're not taking it and they're sitting in this darkness. But I know that there's nothing I can do except to keep shining my light and sending them love, yet not wanting them in my vicinity until they rise up to meet me where I am. And if they do good, and if they don't, it's okay too, because the soul's journey continues lifetime after lifetime. And it's up to us how much inner work we want to do in a lifetime and how much light we want to integrate and incorporate. And how true do we want to be? And that's another thing. Are we living for approval and validation from the outside? Or do we give ourselves the approval and validation that we need, knowing that we're holy and whole already? And do we trust our authentic spirit and express what comes through, no matter what other people are going to say about it? And to me, that is really the spirituality, true spirituality, to be true to your spirit and to express that bravely and boldly. No intermediaries. It's not complicated at all. So I'll leave you with that question. Do you feel that your actions are aligned with your words? And is integrity a virtue that you value? And are you living a life that feels true to you? You don't have to answer to me, but if you want, you can answer to yourself. Thank you for listening. If you have made it till the end, I'm sending you lots of love.